One of the first questions I always get asked by new mums is, when can we start using a bento? Well, the beauty about the bento is being leak proof. And when my girls were little, so when they just started eating their solids, about 9 months of age, I used to do purees for them. So I'd use, every compartment would have its own little section of food. So I'd do sweet potato puree, pumpkin puree, some sweet and pear puree. And also I'd add in there as well some chopped veggies like carrots and cucumbers. And I'd put a dip in there as well. And what I do there is, they were for my wife. So in the one compartment or the one bento, I'd have 3 or 4 purees for my daughters and also a little snack for my wife. Now, as they get older, all you do is literally just change up the food. So you replace the purees with food that's a little bit more solid, like you might start introducing different types of fruit and veggies and some meats even, and different types of dairy. Okay, one way to stop food from going brown in a bento is this little masterpiece here. Now, the best thing about the bentos, the stuck-on-you bentos, is that they are airtight, and the silicone compartment up the top traps the air in and leaves the air out as well. So it stops the food from going brown from that point. However, the secret is, so once you close your bento and you pop it in a refrigerated bag, I find that it keeps the food nice and fresh for pretty much all the way up until school pickup, which is about 3:30 for my girls here in Australia. I never throw out any food at all. It's precious, we need to respect it. So what I do is, generally with bread offcuts and the crusts, I pop them in a bag and I pop them in the freezer. And what I do is, you can, if you're making schnitzels or you need breadcrumbs, you blitz them in a blender for a few seconds and bang, you got your breadcrumbs. But also stay tuned in the future as well, because I've also got some amazing vegetable bread ball creations that I use with all my bread offcuts. Really, really simple and cost effective. I've got a cheap $7 knife and I've been using it for ages. Doesn't have to be the best knife, as long as it can cut, and always be careful with the knives. I use a rolling pin with some of my bread creations that I do. Also, I use a fork, a spoon, and I have some scissors as well. So as you can see, you don't need the best utensils or the most expensive utensils, you just need the bare essentials to create awesome lunches. You can create them the night before and pop them in the fridge. Now, they're awesome, especially if you're not using any bread. You can pop the whole bento in the fridge and just take it out in the morning, pop it in the bag, off they go. However, I do recommend making the bread in the morning. It just stops it from going hard in the refrigerator. It is a bit of a process, and my 2 girls were very fussy when starting out, and it took me a while to get them there. But the secret is, monkey see, monkey do. You have to lead by example. If you want them to eat the broccoli, for example, you're gonna have to eat that broccoli as well. They're gonna have to see you eating the broccoli, and they're gonna have to see you making a song and dance about how delicious and nutritious it is for them. So the first thing is, monkey see, monkey do, lead by example. The second thing is, slowly integrate them with the food that you want them to eat. For example, don't wait for them to start at school for you to introduce the food for them. The key is doing it at home. So whether it's at dinner time, just introduce one risk taker that I call, and we'll use the broccoli as an example. So introduce the broccoli and leave it on their plate and see how it goes. They probably won't eat it, they probably won't like it, but persistence is the key. Another way to help with fussy little eaters is, kids eat with their eyes. So just like when you go to a restaurant and you expect the food to look good, otherwise you'll send it back, kids are the same, except they throw tantrums. That's the only difference. So what I'd suggest is making the food look good, but don't go overboard, because they'll expect it all the time. So just let the fresh produce be the hero. Use the colors of the rainbow to inspire them and inspire you. So if you can incorporate beautiful colors, fresh food, the kids are going to want to eat it. And remember, by making food and cutting food that's bite-sized and a little bit creative, they're more likely to want to try it. So keep it fresh, colourful and bright, and keep it snack size. Always helps. So The other alternatives with the bento are dinner time. What I do at home is, because of the removable tray, this is actually a dinner tray for my girls, and they can eat their DIY tacos at home for dinner. And also getting them used to eating from the tray at home first before they start school gets them familiar with eating from it, so it won't be daunting, it won't be anything new if they do use it at school. Also, so apart from dinner trays or a dinner bento, picnics, fantastic. So on weekends, I generally would chop up some fruit and veggies. Doesn't necessarily have to be anything major, but as long as I get the essentials, which is number 5, which I use 3 veggies and 2 fruits, I'm happy. Fill it up, dice them up, shut the lid, off we go. Whether it be a park, picnic or a camp, you can't go wrong. Also, us adults, we love, my family loves their own bento. So I've got my bento, my wife's got her own, and my daughters have theirs as well. Helps with portion control, great for eating anything you like and that's fresh. In these two, for example, I've got yogurt and I've got sour cream. You could use hummus, you can use dips, you can use thicker curries as well. One thing I don't recommend is water or soup. So any other liquid is no problems at all. And remember, because of the lid compartment is airtight, it stops any cross-contamination and makes the bento leak-proof. So as you can see there, everything stayed in its position, as well as the sour cream. Either between 5 and 10 minutes if I'm not prepared, or generally if I'm prepared, it only takes about 5 minutes. The key for me is when I do my shopping with my girls, I generally wash all my fruit and veggies and I have them sitting in the fridge ready to go. Sometimes if I have enough time during the night, I'll just dice them up and have them sitting in little compartments. So all I'm doing is literally picking them up, popping them in the bento. Shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes if you're prepared. Otherwise, 10 minutes if you want to take the time to wash and peel and dice any of the fruit and veggies. So any more than 10 minutes, we're gonna have to work on. So guys, hopefully I've answered some of your questions. If not, please comment below and we'll endeavor to answer them in part 2. So I'm out of here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and remember, the Stuck On You bento makes lunches so much easier, and I'm a dad. If I can do it, you can do it.